Alright guys, we're going to try a heater core on an '01 Volkswagen Passat 4Motion 2.8. Sorry, 2.8 liter V6 obviously. Guessing at the tools we're going to need. There's the new heater core. This is a control module for the auxiliary water pump. I got it spare off of another car that I took apart because with the water leaks that this thing was having, the coolant leaks I should say, you can see it's a little bit low, but I think that's because I didn't bleed it good. There was, on a previous video, you might see it, I'll link to it. There's a, underneath here, straight down from where my finger's pointing, there's a thermal temperature sensor. The O-ring had disintegrated and it was leaking water. So the auxiliary water pump was pumping, killing the battery. Anyway, so I had that. I'm going to go ahead and do a little troubleshooting on that, and then start getting this thing taken apart. In here, we're going to take battery out. Obviously, you can see it's already bypassed the heater core. That's a neat trick if you need to wait to do this. I'm going to drain the AC. There's some fuses over here. There's a screw underneath. I'm going to use the method of pulling the whole dash out complete and see if that works. I've never done one of these before, so it's going to be an adventure. Yeah, so we'll keep you updated and see if I can do a decent job. Alright guys, so first thing is I pulled it up out of the stall so I can get both the doors open and have good access to the inside. And we get a couple things removed and then get started. So I started with everything in the engine compartment. Battery first, of course. Then I took this cowl cover off. It pops. It's got some clips that are right here in the center, and then there's one over there. And then it lifts up. There's a groove right here that it sits in. And it lifts up and out. Careful, they're usually old and brittle, so I might crack mine a little bit, but it didn't hurt it. The next thing is, took this box off. It was really easy to get to that screw with the cowl cover off. There's 4 or 5 screws. I took the computer out because it's easier to manipulate the wiring harness. And you really are only trying to get to these connectors. They're all color-coded and unique, so there's no, it looks like a lot right here. There's more inside, I think, but it looks like a lot right here. They're all color-connected. Color-coded, and we don't have a blue one. There's nothing on the blue. Next thing I did is drained my air conditioner, and there's one bolt that holds that guy in, and this thing slides and you can pull that out. This is the filter, the cabin air filter. Pulled that guy out, and as you can see, this was already done. It was this way when my son bought this car. This is my son's car, and so I didn't even have to disconnect those. I did have to use the small puller to get these off. I soaked them, and I tapped them with a hammer, and they didn't come loose. So I did have to use a small puller, and that looks like this. Mine's just a cheap Harbor Freight one, really small. It's like, so there's a roll of tape. It's small. It's like a $6 tool, but I already had it. Anyway, so we got everything in here disconnected, or out here disconnected. I think the next thing to do is to step inside the car and start on it. It's going to be for tomorrow. I'm just doing this about an hour a day. Hopefully get her done this week. Anyway, that's the day's work. Alright, I just started on the inside today, and I realized that if you have electric seats, it's probably a good idea to shove those all the way back before you pull the battery. And you're going to need to manipulate the gear shift to the back, leave your key on, then to, disconnect the battery, because that'll get in the way on an automatic. Standard, I think you don't have to do that, but it's got the lockout on the automatic. So we got the floor mats out, and now we're going to start taking stuff apart. So I'll keep you up to date. Alright guys, so in an attempt to get to some of these wires and also the steering shaft, which is under here. Let's see if I can get a light there. Steering shaft. You're going to have to get this lower panel off that holds your light switch and stuff. Excuse me. I think there's 6 bolts. One here, one here, one here, one here, one here. You'll see them. They're pretty obvious. As you take them out, it gets looser and looser. So this guy plugs into your, or switches in, snaps into your lower part down there. Oh, and there's, yeah. And then your light switch unplugs. It's real easy if you just take your time, but you end up with this metal plate. You still have to take it off. And there's a few bolts there. What I noticed, I didn't take this bolt out, so I know somebody's been in here before, because that bolt is missing, but I'll replace it. Now up here, oh, looks like it's got a little break there, but up here it's just a clip that pops in. So there's another one right here. But just take your time. Don't break anything, because then it won't snap together and be tight. You'll have rattles and stuff going down the road. You don't want that. So I'm going to take this panel off and then show you the wires we got to disconnect in the steering column. And this is out of order. I did this before the steering side, but you can see everything all the wires that are connected to this little harness come off from right down here. I hope that's getting it. Then this guy unplugs. All right. Then there's a big bolt here. And then there's a couple bolts right down here. Let's see if I can get a better view of that. I thought you might have to take the center column off, and we might still have to, but there's a couple bolts right here that go in. Now my spirit guide says that there's some bolts up here that need to come out, but we'll see. I took them off of this bracket, and I don't think I should have. So if not, I'll give you an update. But this bracket right here, the two angled bolts or nuts, not bolts, sorry. I don't think I should have taken those off, but we'll see. At any rate, these wires also, I don't believe we have to disconnect. Looks like they're connected over here, and they go through the firewall, so I don't think I have to mess with those, but we'll see about that too. And I haven't taken any of these grounds off. Again, they look like they go away from where we're pulling stuff. Yeah, anyway, so that'll go, that little note to an editor, that'll go to the before the steering wheel side. Alright, this is a little difficult to film, but there's one bolt right here that ties the steering column in. So she's loose now. Then there's some connectors on your brake pedal, on your throttle. This is a drive-by-wire. And then a sensor above here. Not sure what it is, but it plugs in up there. Then there's one bolt. Let's see if I can see it. It's right here. Hope that's not too bright. You can see. There it is. There you go. One bolt right there. That connects the upper part of the pedal assembly. This is an automatic car, so there's no clutch. You can see where the clutch would connect to over there. Those are the hardest ones to get to, because you gotta lay on your back underneath the thing, but it really pays off to take those other two parts off of it. So now, if we come back here and look, you see this? It slides in and out. Hopefully, we've got everything disconnected the way we should, so that it comes out. I'm gonna have to wait till my son gets here to try and pull it out and see what happens. We might have to do some disassembly of the center console, but it's looking pretty good. Rather than disassembling the whole dash, I think the whole dash can slide out now, but we'll see. Alright, hopefully you can see what we're doing, but we started pulling it out. We're going to go ahead and do it some more. We're going to watch the center console. Okay, like we're catching on something. Maybe it's down here. I'm all the way out here. Catching on the center console, I think. So, okay. We might have to go up, yeah, going down. Okay. Oh, can. We might have to rotate it like the bottom up, yeah, like that. There we go. Like that. Good? Yeah, I think so. Right. That might be it. All right. It was just a wiggle and shake and move her around, but it looks like we got it. There's the, that's going to be hard to see, but
There is the doodle we got to change out, heater core. Everything else is kind of disconnected. I'll go in here, get the light back up in here. Kind of cool. Heater core's right in here. You can see the tubes came through. Looks like everything's disconnected. Pretty straightforward. And it worked the way we thought it would. So, yeah. A little bit rough on the center console, but that's part of it. Alright, I'm going to manipulate it a little bit more. We'll take some more video. Trying to get a picture of it. There it is right there. And it's kind of... We're going to pull those 2 screws out and see what happens. Okay, just letting you know how much manipulation you can do with what we had taken off and showed you taking off. This cable's got some tension on it. It's kind of keeping it from tilting over, but you see it's sitting in there pretty good. You could probably take the whole thing out of the car if you wanted to. It's not really necessary. You just need to manipulate. There's where your heater core goes. You just need to manipulate that in there around your dash. Looks like it's pretty straightforward. When we go back in, we'll have to worry about this guy hitting in there and this guy going right up against there. This is your interlock cable, your key to be able to, you know, brake pedal, push the button, all that. Yeah, I think we're good there. This one cable, I didn't have to take both ends off. I can actually snap it back in right now. It goes in the drive-by-wire, and then these guys snap in there. So that you don't have to take off. I took them off in the video, but you can see now, no reason to. That plugs onto the doodle. It looks like the process worked wonders. I'm going to dry that out from the back seat. And matter of fact, let's see if we can get in there. And paper towel and a screwdriver maybe, and get in there and dry it out before we put the new one in, just so there's no residual water sitting there, although it probably has a lot of condensation at times. So anyway, I'll take a video of that. Alright, so there's the inside where we're going to put the heater core, and I just wiped it out. Had a little bit of coolant in there, so it was definitely bad. But anyway, we're going to go ahead and insert it and screw it down. Alright, we're sitting in the back seat. A lot of work I do by myself. Sometimes I can get my sons to help me when they're around, but let's see if we can get this guy inserted. A couple screws in. She's a tight one. Yeah, very tight. Oh. There it is. There we go. Little.
That wasn't good.
Hopefully that was change. Hopefully that was change or something. I think it was change out of his tray, or out of his thing. So it's seated. It's seated in there. I'll go ahead and put a screw in her. And as I've said before, always go backwards till you feel those guys clunk down like that. Then you're in the old threads. Makes it stronger. Yep, that guy's in. Yeah, it's got a little snap right here. I'll show you that in just a second. Tells you when you're all the way in, so. There it is. Yep. Okay. Let's see if I can get the light here where we can see. And I'll get you a closer look at those. You can see the snap, and you can see the 2 screws. There's the snap right there. And it's in. So we're gonna see about setting her back in the spot.